Good afternoon and welcome to this week's masterclass on mastering your emotions. I can see a couple people's audios are trying to connect. Oh, we got Fab in the waiting room. So before we screen share and get into it, we'll just let everybody get here and get connected. In the comments, drop me a note and let me know if you have done any mastering emotions workshops with me in the past, or if you've done any with anybody else. If you have any kind of an understanding to what today is going to be all about, because I'm really, really excited to present this to you guys. This has been work that I've been working on for quite a few months consecutively on a daily basis with my MMA, my Magnetic Mindset Academy, and we've been deep diving into some really good stuff. We've been diving into some really good stuff. Hillary in the comments, probably, yes, you've done a lot of work with me, so you probably have, but I think this might come at you a little bit differently. So, I was almost going to say good morning, good afternoon, and I think we will just dive right into this. I'm going to do a screen share. The problem is once I do that, I can't see my waiting room, but that's okay. We can always check back in maybe with the waiting room in a minute. That's what we'll do. All right. Change your mood in 90 seconds. Change your mood in 90 seconds. This is a free masterclass, of course, with myself, Coach Casey, and Coach Carissa is in the house. All right. Yeah. So during this masterclass, make sure your microphone is muted. Unless you're in a really quiet room, then don't worry about it. But if there is some background noises, just stay muted unless we ask you or you have something that you need to say. Then, of course, come in. It's a nice small group, so we can maybe have some conversations. Use the chat for all your comments and questions, unless we ask you to participate or to unmute yourself. And we don't need anybody to rename themselves. Sometimes you come on with the type of phone that you're on. So I just like people's names to be there. Even if you're not on camera, it's nice to know the names of the people that we are talking to. Okay, guys, the 90-second rule. The 90-second rule. The 90-second rule is a term used by Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor, a Harvard-trained neuroscientist who specializes in the anatomy of the brain. When a person has a reaction to something in their environment, there is a 90-second chemical process that happens in the body. After that, any remaining emotional response is just the person choosing to stay in that emotional loop. So I always visualize a hamster in a wheel, just going around and around and around. So if something makes you angry, you've been cut off in traffic and you're angry, or somebody just can't do something right and you're super frustrated, that emotion only needs to chemically stay with you for 90 seconds. After that, you've decided to relive it. You decided to get to work and go into the office and tell everybody how that car pissed you off and tell everybody how frustrated you are. You are doing that to yourself. You are retelling yourself a story over and over and over again. And some people will let this affect and kind of destroy their whole entire day, but not anymore. Not once you learn the tips and tricks that I'm about to teach you here today. Oh, what's happening? That's not what's happening. Do you have control, Crystal? I feel like I've lost control of my screen. Hang on 1 second. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. This is
The first tab, that one. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why I went somewhere completely different.
You're there again.
Yeah. I apologize, you guys. I'm not sure why my
Um, are you trying to press the keyboard instead of like
no,
your mouse?
I always just click on the side of the
Yeah.
screen.
There's some sort of link attached to this. This is so strange.
Well, that's the thing. I have see, these are just coming in all weird orders. All right. That side works. Let's carry on and see what happens. This could be an entertaining class. All right. Why did we create Authentically Fit? So I think you guys are pretty familiar with us. Our mission is to break the stigma of the fitness industry. Everything is in my way right now. Uh, so we want to impact 10 new ladies each week with this masterclass to make a change. Because if we can impact 10 women, they can impact their families, and their families can impact their community. And it all starts with you. So hello, my name is Coach Casey. I have been in the health and fitness industry for over 35 years now. I've had the pleasure of being certified in a variety of different areas of health and fitness. I am a mother of 4 and a grandma of 5. And I just want to get that message out there there to everybody that it's not always nutrition and exercise. Mindset plays a huge, huge role. And when people are struggling for motivation, I think the key to motivation is to get educated, to understand why you need to be doing the things that you need to be doing. And I just want to age actively, and I want to help other people do that as well. And I'll just let Carissa, my beautiful daughter, introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Coach Carissa. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a nutrition coach. I previously won my pro card in bikini and developed a really shitty relationship with food that involved a lot of binging and restricting. And so my really big goal in the fitness industry is to break up with diet culture and to help you break up with diet culture as well and be able to enjoy all of the foods that you love while on your weight loss journey or your journey to building muscle and just becoming the best version of yourself. Okay. We do also have another coach on our team. Our head coach, Brittany, is usually at these meetings. She's got an important in-person appointment that she's at right now, so she's not with us today. However, I will tell you a little bit about Coach Brittany. She's our certified personal trainer and nutritionist with 5 years of experience. She's passionate about empowering plus-size women to transform their lives. She's guided over 200 women in their fitness journeys, and she believes that mindset is the key to lasting change. She's dedicated to helping her clients in every step of the way to a healthier lifestyle that not only enhances physical well-being, but also fosters self-love and resilience. Coach Brittany has also lost 160 pounds total. And yeah, you're going to be able to learn a little bit more about how she did that.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys, we want to talking today about emotional homes. Everybody has an emotional home. An emotional home is like a comfort zone. You ever know that person that's always angry? They're just always pissed off at life. Everything is just mad, angry. They go out, they have fun, they're super happy for a minute, but as soon as they get home and they get back into their reclining chair, they just go back to angry. There's those people that are just, they think they're so funny, and then you just laugh at their jokes because they just think they're so funny that it's funny. They think they're so funny. There's that person who is just constantly living in chaos. Their life is just chaotic. You just can't fathom how so much chaos can happen to one human being. These are because it's an emotional home. It is comfortable to stay in an emotion that you are familiar with. If you grew up with a mother who was on every single diet, who was always gossiping about people, chances are that is an easy, comfortable place for you to go to. Going on diets every time you want to fit into an outfit, going on diets every time there's an event, that becomes a comfort zone. And it's easier to be in a comfort zone than it is to try to make those changes to be in a better place. So we have negative emotions and we have positive emotions. We're going to narrow this down to we're going to talk about 10 negative emotions that all other emotions fit into these 10 emotions. So I like to think that I have a couple negative emotional homes. I've done a lot of work on emotional homes and myself. And I like to think that I spend 2% of my day in a negative emotion, and 98% of my day, my positive emotional home is happy. I'm a genuinely very, very happy person. I love being happy. I don't understand why the whole world wouldn't want to live in a home of happiness. And so I have taught myself that I can have a negative emotion and I can get back to happy because that's who I am. That's where I want to be. And I can do that in 90 seconds or less. So this is a 4-step process to mastering your emotions. Learn this, study this, listen to this a million thousand times. Make this just so natural. Just like anytime something stressful happens in my life, I have trained myself to stop and breathe. I just stop, and wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I just take a couple deep breaths and I ground myself and I come back to being able to think more.
Oh, hello, welcome to the Build a Cute Ass Masterclass.
How does this keep happening?
Hello, welcome.
What is going on?
I'm not doing this, you guys. This
It's my bestie, Amanda.
It's a replay of last week.
Me too.
That is
So
so
proud of
How
her.
do I make
You
it?
have to close the other tabs on your
First time
computer
she's
that
ever
aren't the
done something like
masterclass.
this. I'm so proud of her.
I have nothing open.
So great. I'm so proud of you too.
This
Build
is
a Cute Ass Masterclass.
At the very bottom of your screen, is there a mute button?
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. Hello, welcome.
yeah. Oh, there's not
I'm
talking.
Girl.
Woo.
You guys, I apologize.
There's got to be other
Quite
tabs
funny.
open.
Okay, Absolutely I love true. this.
Screen share.
Me
You
too.
never take us too far.
I'm so proud of her.
You guys are the best.
Okay.
First time
You
she's
guys
ever
are
done
awesome.
something
I'm so
like
glad
this.
you're
I
here.
can't
I'm so
make this
proud of her.
stop.
Are you from
Screen share. Screen share.
All right.
I don't know what's going on. Also, next week, side note, while she gets that figured out, guys, we're going to, me and Coach Brittany are going to start switching to evening master classes. So the next week and the week after that are going to be evening ones, which I think are going to be really fun and fit people's schedules a little more.
Mm-hmm. All right, 4-step process to mastering your emotions. Emotions are messages. So the next time you feel angry, hurt, frustrated, sad, guilt for something, I want you to imagine that a delivery truck just pulled up in your driveway. It has a message for you. That message is always that something has to change, right? It's a simple message. Something has to change. You need to identify the action signal. Which category does it fit into? Okay, because you might have an emotion like anxiety. Anxiety is not actually an emotion. Anxiety comes from and will fit into one of these 10 emotions that we're going to talk about today. So when you can take anxiety and recognize it's not its own emotion, it probably fits into fear. Usually anxiety fits into the emotion of fear. And then you can look and break down the message of fear. That anxiety is going to feel a little easier to deal with, right? So the first thing you need to do is identify the emotion. Okay, identify the emotion as one of the 10 that we're going to go over today. Second thing is you need to be grateful for the emotion. You have to always stop and live everything through gratitude. If you can find gratitude and you can recognize that this emotion is going to help you, be grateful that you now have a message, you now have an action step that's going to pull you through this. Third thing you would do is review what that message is. Okay, review what that message is. There's a meaning, and I'm going to give that meaning to you. You don't have to make this up or find it yourself. I'm going to literally tell you what that message means. Okay. Number 4, you need to take action. Action steps aren't action steps unless you actually take action. And to take action, you are very simply either going to change your perception or your procedure. You're going to change your perception, the way you look at this, because two people's perspective can be very different and cause a lot of tension, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of problems because you see things very differently. Or you need to, it's an and or, you might have to do both, change your procedure. How are you dealing with this? How are you going about this emotion? How are you going about this emotion? What can you change here? So let's dive into each one of these emotions. And if anybody can relate or has had an experience with one of these, I will stop and give you the opportunity. If you do want to unmute, or if you're chatting in the comments, that's great as well. So the first emotion here is discomfort. So discomfort is also uncomfortable. If you're feeling uncomfortable about something, the first thing you need to do is change your state. I literally have this list of 10 and I can send it to you. You can just message me for it. I have it in a sheet like this that has all 10 of them with this exact message, all the screens you're about to see. I have it saved in my phone. I have it memorized now, but I will pick it up when I'm feeling discomfort or I'm feeling uncomfortable about something and re-recognize what is the message and then decide, do I need to change my procedure or my perspective? So discomfort, change your state. How do you change your state? I change my state by deep breathing, by exercising, taking a cold shower, right? There's lots of different ways, screaming in a pillow, to change your state. When you're uncomfortable, you're not in a good state. You got to get out of it. Clarify what you want. You're uncomfortable because you don't know what you want. You're there's some wishy-washy shit going on in your head. Clarify what you want and move in that direction. You've got to move in that direction. What do you want? What do you want instead of what you're feeling now? And move in that direction. Now that ties, yeah, we'll go into fear. Second emotion, one really common one is fear. Again, a lot of anxiety lives in fear. This message is to prepare yourself to deal with an upcoming event to avoid negative consequences. When we're afraid, it's because we're not prepared. So maybe, oh, it does show me when people are in the waiting room. Maybe you are doing a presentation. You're getting really, really anxious all week long. You've got this presentation on Friday. You don't know why. Your stomach is in knots. You're extra everything. You're snappy. You're just doing all the things we do when we feel anxious. But the actual problem is you're not prepared. You haven't really worked on this presentation that you're about to give. Or you fear that old presentations from last week might hijack your computer and start playing on the screen, right? So fear, get prepared, right? Get prepared. The tax man calls. You might have done everything you think right, but get prepared. Get your papers in order. The fear, the message is that you are probably not prepared to deal with an upcoming event. Hurt. So hurt, when you're feeling hurt, and unmet expectations result in a perceived loss. Signals and opportunities to grow by improving your communication next time. So this is really interesting. Hillary will recognize this. This is an example that I've given lots in a lot of my talks. And when I was doing some of Tony Robbins' work, he used pretty much the exact same example. And I was like, okay, this connects. So I have a rule in my home. When somebody walks in the door, we need to be greeted. If my hubby comes home from work, I need to stop what I'm doing and greet him, and vice versa. So say he's watching the ball game and I walk walk through the door and I get nothing. He doesn't acknowledge me. I kind of try to go over and give him a little peck on the cheek. I get nothing. He's so focused on the ball game. I might feel hurt. This could also fit with discomfort. Some people might get uncomfortable. It's kind of embarrassing. You go to kiss somebody and they don't kiss you back, right? It's like when you go to high five somebody and they totally miss it and they don't high five you. That's uncomfortable. That's weird, right? You say hi to somebody in the store and everybody sees you say hi and they don't say hi back, right? This can be discomfort for some people. It can be hurt for other people. Somebody might just be uncomfortable because they realize the person didn't see them. Somebody might take that same situation and be hurt and be like, oh, wow, she snubbed me. She didn't want to see me, right? So this is where perception really, really comes in, right? Stay with me. So I go to kiss my hubby when he's watching the ball game, and it hurts my feelings that he can't stop watching freaking TV when he hasn't seen me all day to acknowledge me. So what do I need to do? I can spend the rest of the day feeling unloved and hurt, probably start being bitchy at him. It's going to spiral into probably an argument or tension throughout the whole house. Or I can change my perception or procedure or both. My perception is that he doesn't see this the same way. That person was hitting a home run. I'm going to be here in 3 seconds. The home run is done in 3 seconds. I'm going to be here in a few minutes for him to get that kiss and to say, how was your day? And to have that conversation. That ball game is in real time. It's in real life, right? That would be his perception. But I don't watch ball. I don't see it that way, right? Now I can also change my procedure and have a conversation. Instead of just walking away from it all, I would say, okay, as soon as you can pause your show, can we talk? And then I can communicate my feelings. You know what? It hurts my feelings. And I have done this in my house. I've said, I need to be greeted when I walk in the door. I need that acknowledgement. Right. And so now he knows when I walk through the door to give me that, at least say 1 second, babe, and then I realize he's acknowledged me. Does that make sense? So hurt, I think a lot of people run around this world being hurt for absolutely no real reason. They didn't need to be hurt for even the 90 seconds. Change your perspective. What is the other person? What is the other person doing here? Or your own perception. Could you see this situation a little differently? Anger. I have learned since doing this last month with the MMA, anger is one of the number one emotions people deal with and feel on a regular basis. Hear this, listen to this message. An important rule or standard was violated. Clarify your standard and realize that others may not share that same standard. So Chris and I are great examples here. We often do not have the same perspective on something, and she'll get angry with me, or I'll get angry with her, or frustration could be another one. Frustration can fall into anger because we don't see something the same way, right? You could be angry at me for not preparing for this workout when she doesn't realize I don't prepare workouts. I haven't in 35 years. I have never written down what I'm going to do. I've done this my whole life. I don't even need a timer, and I can nail an hour workout without ever looking at the clock. This is what I'm born to do. But if she's angry at me at that, she needs to change her perspective and recognize this is not the way my mom does things. Right? Or she could change her procedure and say, for my brain to work, I need this workout written down, or it's going to make me crazy, or we're going to teach different classes at different times, right? So where is the time? Drop it in the comments. When have you been angry at somebody? So often we are angry, and we're angry at our kids. How often have you been angry at your kids? And if you just stopped and looked at it from their side, you wouldn't have to be quite so angry. But you get angry, then they get angry, and everybody just gets angry. And they're, at the end of the day, their rules or standards aren't the same as yours. What's important to you is not necessarily important to Hillary or to me or to Carissa. Your standards are different, and you have to be able to acknowledge that. So anger, change your perspective, the way you see it or the way the other person that you're angry at might see it. You're frustrated, angry with somebody on the highway because they just cut you off. Maybe they're on their way because they just found out their kid was in a car accident, right? Now you're angry at them. Well, they got bigger problems than you right now. And then you get to work. Again, you do the same thing. You walk in, you're like, oh, this asshole cut me off. You relive it. You're in that hamster wheel. You get home, you tell your partner about the guy that cut you off when maybe he was rushing his wife to have a baby, and the baby, you don't know. You don't know. Half the time you are angry at somebody, if you actually knew what was going on with that somebody, you probably wouldn't be angry at them, right? That one hits for me. So frustration, we talked quite a bit about that, but change your approach until you reach your desired outcome. Change your approach until you reach your desired outcome. When you are frustrated, that you're not doing things right. That's to stop doing that. Stop doing what you're doing. Recognize it's not working, and that's okay. It's not working. Do it differently. Okay. Half the time we are frustrated. We just need to do something differently, get your desired outcome. Disappointment. An expectation was unrealistic. Adjust your goals or expectations to be more accurate. Setting inaccurate goals, you guys, you decide you're going to lose 20 pounds in this amount of time, and then you don't, and you're disappointed and you're upset with yourself. That's just going to lead to more negative emotions and behaviors, right? You got to get realistic. And this is where, if you have fitness goals, make sure you talk to a coach. Don't try to set your own goals. That is probably one of the number one things people do to put themselves into a disappointed state. If you, my cat smashing into the window, save yourself from being disappointed by being realistic. Set realistic goals, get help setting realistic goals, right? You planned on paying off your mortgage by the time you were 40. You haven't done that yet. Well, did you have a financial advisor on your side? So an expectation was unrealistic. If you feel like you are often in a place of disappointment, start relooking at your expectations, right? We expect so much sometimes from our partner, right? You expect to come home and he was off today, so the wood's going to be stacked, the fire's lit, dinner's cooked. You walk in the door and you're disappointed, right? And then now you're in a fight with your partner because you're disappointed because he didn't meet your expectations. Change your procedure, change your process, your perspective. Maybe he's not feeling well before you jump down his throat. Maybe he got a terrible phone call from his parents. You don't know. These are steps to slow you down and figure out what's going on. Guilt. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. I'm just going to check in with the comments here quickly because I feel like we've got some coming in. It's my computer was haunted, Hillary. Yes. The weather today is spooky too. Yes. I felt hurt a lot actually, and this resonates with what I need to work on. Hillary, it's changed me completely in the last few months that I've been studying this daily. It's really changed my relationship with so many people. Since learning this, I've been much less angry in all aspects of my life. I love that. So true. I used to do that. Now my goals take time and I'm okay with it. Yes. Yes. Communication can help with disappointment big time, right? Right? But sometimes we forget we know this stuff. Guilt. You violated your own standard. When you feel guilty, you violated your own standard. Take action to make things right and ensure it won't happen again. A lot of people like to say, just whoosh under the, just, oh, forget it. Don't have to be guilty. You're always feeling guilty. Don't be guilty. No, be guilty. Feel guilty. All emotions are meant to be felt. All I'm saying is we don't need to feel them for more than 90 seconds, but you got to get angry. You got to get sad. If you screw up or you hurt somebody's feelings, you should feel guilty, right? But if you can't make it right, sometimes the person's passed on or it's just something you're not willing to go back to, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to make the situation that's made you feel guilty right. You just make sure that it won't happen again. If you can be positive that you won't let that person down again, or you won't do that thing that you've done that's got you feeling so guilty ever again, that you've done the work on yourself, you're not going back there, then you can release guilt that way. Look at the perception again, perception, procedure around guilt. Inadequacy. Up your game. The message when you feel inadequate, up your game to get better in this area. For example, practice the underlying skills more. So if you feel inadequate at work, get better at your job. If you want to be the best basketball player and you're not shooting hoops every day, you're never going to be the best because somebody is shooting hoops every single day. Somebody, if you run an online business, somebody is working harder than you or more than you or upping their game. If you feel inadequate in your family, maybe you need to spend more time with your family, right? So wherever you're feeling inadequate, not enough, that's another way to look at inadequacy. And if you don't feel like you're enough, you need to up your game. But just take charge, dive in and get better at the underlying skills. Overwhelmed. This is the second biggest one that I found in my studies with my people. Anger and overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. This is where depression would probably fit in. If you're struggling with depression, it's probably in the family of overwhelmed, overstimulated, over everything. You're doing too much at once. Identify what's a priority. Rank them. I always write out my priorities and then I go back and look at them and I rank them. So last June was the busiest time of my whole entire life, and I had to do this. I had to write it out. I have to drive Callie to school. I have to. She's in her grade 11 year, and I have to pick her up. There's no buses. There's no alternative. I'm not just being spoiling my child. I have to drive her to school. So that's up here at the top. My when I was taking care of my dad when he was still here, that's a priority. He needed his medication, he needed his foods. That is a priority. So he's probably first because he will die without me. Carissa or Callie second because she's my child. She's my responsibility. So even if Carissa needed me, Callie is the underage child that needs me. So I would have to put Callie above. Oh, she's coming in. She doesn't like this. Right? That I want to be there for Carissa, but she's a grown-ass adult.
I keep telling you this. Kelly doesn't have 3 children. I actually need you more. Like, I keep trying to tell my sister too. I keep calling my 16-year-old sister and saying, I think you need to give mom back to me because like I don't think you can have her anymore. I think I need her here. So I beg to differ. I'm not sure about this, guys. I was all on board with this masterclass, and no, right now.
We get the point, though, is that I have an underage child in my home. It's my responsibility.
Prioritize. It makes sense.
Right? Then I have on my list laundry because I love heaps and loads of laundry.
Laundry comes before me?
No, no. I'm saying it's on the list, but I would look at laundry and move it down because at the end of the day, there's no consequences to not doing laundry. You might have to wear dirty underwear. No, I'm kidding, but there's no real consequences to not getting all the laundry done. I would look at the load of laundry and be like, okay, let's get some workout clothes for tomorrow, some clean socks and underwear. Let's just do one load. I can put all that in one load. The rest of it can wait. It can wait until I'm in a better place. So write the list and then rewrite it in a priority. Getting your dishes done. It's okay to leave dishes in the sink. It's okay not to vacuum. It's okay. You guys, once you understand that you are not perfect, nobody in this whole entire world is. The most perfect looking, perfect person is not perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect human being. And when we accept that and we realize that and we stop trying to be perfect, we are much kinder to ourselves. We are much more gentle to ourselves. I also think with overwhelmed, it comes back to the last class that I did about language. Change your language. At the end of the day, if you're like, oh my God, that was an exhausting day. Holy shit, I can't even believe all of that happened. I am so freaking tired. Or you go to bed and you're like, good job, Casey. You were really productive today. You got a lot done. I'm glad that I'm feeling quite tired because it's much easier to sleep at night when I'm tired. Much easier to sleep at night when I'm tired, right? You don't want to wake up tired, but you want to go to bed tired. So stop thinking at the end of the day when you're exhausted, this is bad. I love it, even when my feet are kind of achy, like I've been on them all day. I love being tired at night, being exhausted. So change your language and start recognizing maybe, Coach Brittany loves to be busy. She loves to be on the go. She does not stop. I've never seen anyone multitask like that woman in my life, but she loves it. And some days when she feels overwhelmed, I'm like, are you overwhelmed or are you living your best life? And she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm actually living my best life. This is what I do, right? She loves running kids around and amazing things that she does, sending us links in the middle of her shower. Like that woman can do these things. So if she was to run around and tell you about her day and call herself, say she's overwhelmed and exhausted, you would believe her. You would believe her. And then her brain's going to make this a negative thing. But if she can just say, wow, I got so much done today. I was actually able to help Casey on Canva as I did this for Carissa and I got my kids everywhere. Wow, I'm pretty awesome at all the things I got done. So sometimes when you think you're overwhelmed, it's because society has programmed us to think that when we have so much going on, that's bad and we're overwhelmed. Maybe call yourself a freaking superhero and you can do more than the average human being, but just know that it's okay when you can't get it all done. You don't have to get it all done. Prioritize. Loneliness. Number 10, the final emotion is loneliness. You have an unmet need for connection. Identify the type of connection and take action towards it. So if you are lonely, are you lonely because you're lacking friendship? Are you lonely because you don't have a partner? Or maybe you have a partner. The loneliest I was in my life was just before I got divorced. You could have a partner and be lonely. Identify it. Don't just run around being lonely. Don't just cry because you're sad and you're lonely. Why are you?
Are you lonely because you're lacking hanky-panky time?
Are you lonely? Yeah, we'll call it hanky-panky time. Right? That's important. That's important. Your sex life is important. Loving yourself or a partner. So where is this loneliness? And identify the type of connection and then take action towards it. What do you need to do? Who do you need to reach out to? Maybe you think you're lonely because you're used to being around a lot of people taking care of everybody, and now you're home alone a lot, right? I had to acknowledge that and recognize I'm actually not lonely. I'm kind of loving this. This is what I've been waiting for. I felt very lonely for a couple months until I finally was like, am I lonely? It was like I had a confused feeling there. And when I read this and I was like, identify the type of connection, I'm like, no, I have all those connections. I haven't lost any of the connections. And right. So I had to, for me with loneliness, I had to change my perception. So my procedure didn't really need to change, but my perception on what actually is loneliness and am I lonely? And I'm really not. I'm really quite happy. So those are the 10 emotions. Those are the 10 emotions. Has anybody got another emotion that I didn't list that you can, Hillary, you're a freaking superhero. That's right. Another emotion like the anxiety or depression or something that fits into one of these. Have you recognized, I haven't maybe said an emotion that you recognize where it would fit? I have 504 candle jars in my front hall, but learning this is making candles right now is a priority. Yes, yes, you're a freaking superhero. Yes, you are. I love it. What emotional homes? I want everybody to jump in the comments. What do you feel is your emotional homes? You can give me a negative one and a positive one, but where do you feel like let's start with the negative one, a struggle. What negative emotion do you feel like you spend a large amount of your time in? Oh. Oh. Does anybody want to drop that in the comments for me? While you're doing that, I'm just, I wanted to get a testimonial from one of my MMA.
Sorry I can't be there today, but I really wanted to contribute to the talk that you're having. I've been working with Casey for the last 8 months and learning many different tools, and I'm very grateful. The one thing that I recognized was throughout the day, many thoughts come through my mind, and they either will make you happy, sad, irritated, resentful, all different feelings. And so one thing that has really helped me is we worked on emotional homes and which emotional home you're sitting in. And to me, that was the best tool that I have used recently. And basically, it's just recognizing your thoughts and, asking yourself, is it true? And if it isn't true, kicking that thought to the curb. And then if it is true, just looking at the procedure. What do you need to change in order to not have that thought anymore and change it around? And so these have been pretty big for me. And in turn, my days look so much different, right? I'm not feeling all the gamut of emotions that I was. And, my life right now is filled with a lot of gratitude and happiness. And yes, those feelings still come up sometimes, but I have the tools to deal with them, which is fabulous. So I really encourage anyone that can work with Casey, and you will find what type of thing she teaches. It'll resonate with you. But mastering your emotions is a really, really big one, and it changes your life and how you deal with your friends, your coworkers, colleagues, grandchildren, children, all, and it makes you feel better inside. I have so much more peace than I ever did, and I'm grateful for Casey. Thanks so much. Bye.
Aw, that's Corey. Corey is in the MMA Magnetic Mindset Academy. She's absolutely lovely. Been working with her for a while. We've done a lot of really, really good work together. So appreciate that, Corey, if you're watching this in the replay. All right, you guys, we hope this masterclass has made your life easier, already inspired you to start mastering your emotions. At Authentically Fit, we know that the problem is not always having the perfect workout routine and eating the right things. We understand the importance of working on your mindset every day. It's like you don't just call your mom because you need money or a favor. You don't call your bestie for favors. You call them all the time, right? Your mindset isn't something that you can just wait until you're struggling and then decide that you're going to do some deep breathing. I think breathing is pretty important. I think it's one of the main things I want to be good at. So I breathe. I do deep breathing every morning before I get out of bed. Every morning before I get out of bed, have done for years. And my brain knows that breathing deeper than I am right now releases chemicals that make me feel good and that make me feel smarter and bring my heart rate down, bring my blood pressure down, And breathing brings everything to a state where you are capable of making better decisions. So when something horrible happens, and I've had the worst of the worst happen right in front of me, my brain says, do that deep breathing thing. My brain doesn't say panic. It could say panic, or it could say, do that deep breathing thing that you do. And then suddenly you're doing deep breathing and you can think about the situation and take better action, right? Does that make sense, you guys? Right? I always say, imagine if you were walking across ice. I'll wrap this up real quick, but you're walking out on the ice and all of a sudden you hear it crackle, crackle, crackle. You're like, oh shit, oh shit. Boom, down you go. Your arms are there, your head's above the water, but your body is fully submerged, it's freezing cold water. You got two choices. You're puffing and puffing and puffing and panting and panting and freaking out and panicking and freaking out. Or you're deep breathing, thinking, okay, I can see that guy over there. He has a cell phone. He's phoning the fire department. A really hot fireman is going to be here anytime now. You're breathing. You're regulating the temperature of your body. Which scenario has a better chance of you being alive and being okay when the fireman gets there? Train yourself. Train yourself that when you get angry, you stop immediately and change your perception or your procedure before you yell at somebody, before you say things you can't ever take back. Right? Mindset every single day. So this is why almost 2 years ago, I created the Magnetic Mindset Academy. Magnetic is just, to me, the whole science of whether you believe in the universe, the power of your subconscious mind, God, whatever is out there. It's all a magnetic force of life that just works for you. I also like the initials MMA because we sound badass, like, come on. So for anybody who's tried everything, even if it's on a health and wellness or a weight loss journey, if you haven't tried mindset to get you to your goals, then no, you have not tried everything. So in this group, we dig into limiting beliefs that cause us to self-sabotage, because come on, we all know when we're doing things that are not getting us closer to our goals. We're not stupid. We know, pretty much most people know the difference between really healthy foods and really unhealthy foods. But why do we still do it? Why do we do these things that take us so far away from our goals? That's what we work on in the MMA, getting to know ourselves better. We, in this group, we have a private Facebook community. It's not the Elite Squad. It's got a lot of people from it in it, but it's its own community. We have live workshops. I'm live at 7 o'clock every morning because I believe, well, we know the science tells us the first things you allow into your mind in the morning have a lot of power over your whole day. So I get up in the morning and I turn my mindset is literally your mind being set on a channel that serves you, right? Right? Imagine driving down the road listening to JRFM country music and wondering why they're not playing AC/DC and getting mad about that. Change the freaking channel. Right? You get up in the morning and you scroll Facebook and the first thing you see is somebody's passed away or somebody's abusing a dog or whatever you see, your day is gone. Like you're just now in a bad mood. So the MMA was designed for us to meet together in the morning and just get our mindset on the right channel to serve us into having the very best possible day we can and to learn about ourselves. So I always say I provide my clients 24/7 support unless I'm sleeping or having family time. We have random Zoom meetings because I like random Zoom meetings. And then there's also lots of homework, lots of workshops and things for you to do on your own to keep you on track. I'm a library full of journal prompts. Some of my clients, they like journal prompts. Some of them like books, podcasts. So my job is to get to know you and what's going to work for you. So if you're already in the MMA, do me a favor and just comment MMA in the comments. If this is something that you are interested in learning or hearing more about, please feel free to reach out to me privately. Again, I do believe that we need nutrition, we need fitness, and we need mindset. That is what the Elite Squad is. The Elite Squad has all of that wrapped up into one. But if you're in a place where you feel like you just need to get your mindset on that right channel, the MMA is where you want to be. All right. Next week, Carissa, do you know anything more than I do about next week's?
I sure do. Next week is going to be with Coach Brittany. We're going to do 6 p.m. next week so that, yeah, we could do a little bit of an evening one. Same day, so Wednesday next week, 6 p.m. And she's going to be going over her blueprint to how she's lost 160 pounds. And 100 pounds has just been within less than the last year. So that is like the perfect example of what healthy weight loss looks like, where it's not too fast and it's not too slow. And Coach Brittany's transformation has been absolutely amazing. So if you're on a weight loss journey and you want to like hear it from a real chick who has really lost 160 pounds, then come next Wednesday at 6 p.m. and Coach Brittany's going to be going over everything that she's been doing in order to lose that weight. All right.
Awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Those of you in the beginning, thank you for your patience with my little technology issues. I don't think I'd be Casey if I pulled this off perfectly. So there we have it. Thanks so much, you guys. Take care, and we'll hopefully see you next week.